Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's transportation hearing. Before we begin, I'm going to call the commissioner's roll, and then we'll have Ms. Dukes read the docket. Commissioner Belzer.
Present.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Present.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Irvin.
Here.
Okay, we've got everybody here. I'll ask our attorney, Ms. Jerisha Dukes, to please read the docket.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. This proceeding before the Public Service Commission in docket number 2020-54-T concerns the application of Luxury Movers Moving Company, LLC, for a Class E household goods certificate. The hearing is scheduled for today, Wednesday, May 6, 2020, immediately following the Commission's business meeting. We are holding this hearing virtually. There has been no objection and no intervention. Mr. Chairman and other commissioners, the docket is in order.
Thank you, Ms. Dukes. We'll now take appearances from the parties. We'll start with Luxury Movers, Mr. Terraney.
Charlie Terraney for the applicant, Mr. Chairman.
Great. And Office of Regulatory Staff.
Leslie Hammonds with the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Welcome, Ms. Hammonds. Thank you. Okay, is there anything we need to do in a preliminary way before we begin?
Mr. Chairman, we'd like to go ahead and introduce exhibits, but other than that, I don't have any.
Okay. Hang on one second. I know that I was just given the sheet with all of that, with the exhibits on it. Well, let's go ahead and begin. Go ahead, Mr. Terraney.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move into evidence the application filed on February 12th, 2020 with its exhibits.
Okay, the application will be, I think, hearing Exhibit 1. Ms. Dukes, you correct me, or you and Ms. Wheat keep me online, because I seem to have set down somewhere else my list.
Secondly, I'd like to move into evidence the affidavit of publication that was filed February 25th, 2020.
Okay, the affidavit of publication will be hearing Exhibit number 2.
And if this isn't in the order that Ms. Wheat had sent the parties earlier, but if it's okay with her, I would like to go ahead and introduce into evidence the shipper witness affidavit that was filed in this case earlier.
Okay, so we'll do the shipper witness. We'll enter the shipper witness affidavit as hearing Exhibit number 3. Does that work, Ms. Wheat and Ms. Dukes?
Yes.
Okay.
And with that, we are ready to proceed.
Okay, Mr. Terraney, go ahead and let's present your case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We call as our first witness Maurice Gillum.
Yes, how you doing, Charles?
Welcome, Mr. Gillum. Before we begin with Mr. Terraney, we need to swear you in. Do you promise that all the testimony you give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Terraney.
Thank you. Mr. Gillum, state for the record your full name and your address, please.
My name is Maurice Gillum, and you said my address, 178 Sago Palm Drive, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29579.
Thank you. Mr. Gillum, did you prepare or cause to be prepared 5 pages of pre-filed testimony in this docket?
Yes.
Do you have any corrections or additions you wish to make to your testimony?
No, sir.
If I asked you the questions in that testimony today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Did your testimony have 3 exhibits?
Yes.
a certificate of existence, a tariff, and a bill of lading.
That is correct.
And do you have any changes you wish to make to those exhibits?
No, I do not.
Mr. Chairman, I would move into evidence the pre-filed testimony of Maurice Gillum as if given orally from the stand and the exhibits that accompany the testimony.
Okay, tell me those exhibits again. It's the tariff, the bill of lading, and
A certificate of existence.
okay. Okay, Mr. Gillum's pre-filed direct testimony will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand, and the three exhibits, will we do that, Ms. Dukes, as a composite exhibit number 4?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Gillum, I'd like to talk about your testimony a little bit and go through it so that we can summarize it for the commissioners. You've got somebody with you. Can you introduce him for us?
Yes, this is the co-owner. His name is Darius Frazier.
Okay. And you and Mr. Frazier, as you said, are co-owners or members of Luxury Movers Moving Company, LLC, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And tell the commission a little bit about your education, Mr. Gillum.
Yes, so I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Coastal Carolina University. As far as my work background goes, I was right out of high school. I used to work for 2 Men in a Truck, and then that's when I went to college and got my degree. And then I went to, I was at the North Face at the Tanger Outlet. I was the assistant manager. And then I went to Habitat for Humanity of Horry County Restore, where I was the manager. There I was in charge of around 15 employees, moving furniture, picking up donations from donor houses, dropping off deliveries, making a schedule, things of that sort.
When did you graduate from Coastal?
In 2014.
And your partner, Mr. Frazier, he went to Coastal as well, too, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And he has a degree from Coastal?
Yes.
Yes, sir. My degree is Bachelor of Science in Recreation and Sport Management with a Business Administration minor.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. We're going to have to present testimony one witness at a time. Because you're
I'm
so
sorry.
involved in the business, I want the commission to understand your credentials as well, but I'm going to let Mr. Gillum talk about it, if that's okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right. No problem. This is kind of a confusing time for all of us. But we're working through it. But your partner, Mr. Frazier, he went to Coastal Carolina as well, right?
Yes, he graduated also.
Okay. And did y'all know each other when you were at Coastal?
Yes, that's actually where we met at.
Okay. And you said I believe he worked for Habitat for Humanity as well.
Correct, yeah. I was the manager there, and I actually recruited him to Habitat for Humanity.
Okay. So what was he doing at Habitat?
So he was the scheduler. He was in charge of scheduling all of the donation pickups and the actual routes for the truck drivers.
And when we hear about Habitat, I think of people building homes and things. What was the role of truck drivers and the scheduling at Habitat? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so as far as Habitat for Humanity accepted donated products, and we were in charge of picking it up and reselling it in our store in order to basically fund the housing for Habitat for Humanity.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to give away a washing machine, for instance, y'all would go pick it up and move it?
Yeah, yes, we would go in their home and pick it up. Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kind? Did y'all had trucks? I guess. What kind of trucks?
Yes, they were all 26-foot box trucks.
Okay. Were you doing this after school or during school?
Yeah, yes. This was after coastal.
After you graduated?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell us again, how long were you there?
At Habitat, 2.5 years.
Okay. And how did you come around to deciding to start Luxury Movers?
Well, it all started basically at Habitat for Humanity. Like I said, Darius was the scheduler. He would go to schedule the pickups. He would have to tell customers that we were about 10 to 15 days out for pickups. That's how the demand was in the area. And a lot of customers were frustrated. A lot of customers canceled just because we were so far out with pickups. So that's when Darius and I brainstormed, and we wanted to start this just because of how high the demand was.
Okay. And so what kind? So what kind of services do you want to do with Luxury Movers?
We want to do all of the services that any moving company would provide.
Okay. And we've talked about your experience. You've got direct experience with 2 men in a truck as well, and
Correct.
Both of you have had, sounds like, good experience with Luxury Movers. How many employees do you plan to have when you start?
So when we start, we plan to have 4 employees. That's 2 including myself and Darius, so 4 total.
Okay. And do you know who these folks are going to be, or have you identified them?
Yes, we know who they are going to be.
Okay. And how did you find these employees?
So actually, both of them was working for Habitat for Humanity also.
Okay. They were doing moving?
Correct, yes, yeah. So they already have experience.
Good. What kind of training do you plan to do for employees, the ones you have and the ones you may hire in the future?
Yeah, so we planning on, it's basically going to be a 3-step process. We want to do online training first, and then we would do in-house training, getting the employees prepared for the techniques and everything associated with moving, and then we will go on to do on the job training basically, and then after that we will give routine feedback, constructive criticism, and then we will go from there.
Good. Now, do you own a truck?
Yes, we just purchased one.
And I'm gonna share my screen here, and is that your truck?
It hasn't came up yet. Yeah, that's it.
What kind of truck is that?
It's a 26-foot 2013 Freightliner.
And I believe you said you were using 26-foot trucks at Habitat. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So you're accustomed to this kind of truck?
Yes, sir.
Good. How about insurance? Have you found insurance?
Yes, we found cargo and liability insurance.
And what are the limits of the cargo insurance?
The cargo insurance is $20,000.
Okay. And the liability insurance?
The liability is $1 million.
Great. Thank you. Now, you've attached a tariff to your testimony as Exhibit B. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to share my screen again, and I'd like to take a minute and talk about this tariff with you.
Okay.
Everybody good? Can you see that?
Yes.
Good. this your tariff, first of all?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And tell me a little bit, walk me through how your tariff works. Let's say that I'm in Myrtle Beach and I come to Luxury Movers and I want to move to Columbia. How would you estimate the cost of my move and then ultimately charge me for my move?
Okay, so with every move, we do a walkthrough. We would do a walkthrough. So basically, we would go in and see what all the items they have, see if they have stairs or not, if anything has to be disassembled, reassembled, and then after that, we would basically estimate how many hours it would take to move them. And then we would also have to figure out how many guys we would need. So that would go into our tariff. Let's just say a move from Myrtle Beach to Columbia, they didn't have that much stuff, so it only took 2 guys.
Okay.
And let's just say we estimated it would take between 4 to 6 hours of labor. That's not including driving. That's just labor. So 4 to 6 hours. So we would then multiply the $85 an hour times the 4 to 6 hours, and then we would get the labor estimate. And then we also have a truck fee, which is $100, and that's up to 70 miles. And then after 70 miles is $3 per mile. So that would be computed into the charge.
Okay. So if we were going to Conway instead of Columbia, it would just be that flat minimum truck fee?
Yeah, it would just be the flat fee of $100. It's 70 miles or less is $100. Anything over 70 miles would be an additional $3 per mile.
Okay, great. What if I had a pool table or something? What if I had a pool table? Let's be specific.
Yeah. So we have a bulky article charge, which will be $300, will be an addition to our hourly rate.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's an estimate that you've given me at this point.
Yes.
And we didn't add all that up, but let's say the estimate is $600, and it turns out that it takes an extra hour. Would you stick to the estimate, or would you charge according to the tariff?
Well, we would stick to the estimate. If you are you talking about if it's an additional extra hour?
I guess what I'm trying to get at is you're going to charge your tariff rate regardless of the estimate. If it comes in under,
yes, sir.
You charge the under rate. If it goes in over, you charge the over rate. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And because an estimate is just an estimate, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, are you going to use a bill of lading for your moves?
Yes.
And I'm going to share my screen again. You see your bill of lading on the screen?
Yes, I see it now.
And that was the bill of lading that we introduced earlier and was attached as Exhibit C to your testimony. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Would you use one of these for every one of your moves?
Yes, for every single move.
Okay. Have you had a chance? Has Mr. McGill had a chance to look over this bill of lading?
Yes, he has.
And did you incorporate changes that he wanted made to it?
Correct. Yes, I did.
And is it your understanding that he's okay with it?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think, and you talked about this a little bit earlier, but why do you think there's a need for another moving company?
Well, in Myrtle Beach alone, like we're rapidly growing. The storage units and housing developments popping up everywhere here. But also, Myrtle Beach is like the second fastest area in the country, so it's definitely a need for more movers.
How do you plan to reach these people to let them know that you're available to provide service?
Yeah, social media, Google, yep, definitely word of mouth, things of that nature.
Do you have the money to start this business?
Yes, sir.
And are there any outstanding court orders or judgments against the business or either one of you guys?
No, sir.
Have either one of you been convicted of a crime?
No, sir.
Where do you see your business going over the next 5 years?
We definitely want to expand. Definitely want to have more trucks. And with more trucks, we would like to have more employees. And then we could also see ourselves expanding to a neighboring state.
Great. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Fantastic. You're starting a business at 29, and you got big plans. That's good.
Thank you.
Mr. Gillum, have you become familiar with and do you agree to comply with the statutes and regulations that govern the operation of household goods movers in South Carolina?
Yes, I do.
Those are all the questions I have for you. Please answer any questions that Ms. Hammonds may have or that the commissioners may have.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Terraney. Ms. Hammonds, any questions from ORS?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. ORS has no further questions of the witness. I will state that, as the commission is aware, ORS filed a letter yesterday, May 5th, stating that we would not be filing testimony as we had no outstanding issues with the applicant. And based on our review and inspection of the applicant's records and equipment, it's our opinion that the applicant would meet the requirements of fit, will, and enable. If it's appropriate, I can offer that letter now. I think Ms. Sweet had that on her exhibit list.
Okay, we'll go ahead and enter that letter then. I think it's exhibit number 5.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
Okay, exhibit number 5. Thank you. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Hammonds? Before I'm gonna get commissioner questions, and then if there's anything else, we'll come back to you. Okay.
Nothing further from ORS at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions for Mr. Gillum or Mr. Terraney?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Belzer.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Gillum. Appreciate you being available to testify today.
Good afternoon.
I have a few questions I just want to follow up with you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
In your pre-file testimony and in your testimony today, with regard to the discussion on how you plan to train employees, you mentioned that the first phase would be via online training modules. Are those modules things, do y'all develop those, or are those available just on the internet? I'm just curious as to where those come from.
Yeah, we would get them off the internet. We don't have our own.
Okay, I was just curious about that. I am looking. Do you have a copy of your tariff with you?
Yes, I do.
I'm looking at your tariff in section 1. It's on page 4.
Okay.
And you explained the truck fee. I would just make the suggestion that perhaps y'all amend that tariff before you file the final one on the 70 miles round trip, that be up to 70 miles.
Okay.
That's clear.
Okay.
On the next page, two pages, on page 6, under the section on packing and unpacking,
Mhm.
paragraph 2.5.2, part of the last sentence reads that the company reserves the right to decline any moves consisting of extremely large or fragile items. When would the company notify the potential shipper of that?
Repeat the question one more time.
Okay, I'm on page 6, under packing, unpacking in section 2.5.
Yes.
And that second paragraph under that, 2.5.2, Luxury Movers is not responsible for items packed by the customer. Boxes containing fragile or breakable items must be properly labeled. Luxury Movers reserves the right to decline any moves consisting of extremely large or fragile items.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how is the customer going to be, how and when will the customer be notified that the company would possibly reject their move?
They would be notified right away. It definitely, if it's extremely large, like a real big glass tabletop that they have to take down several flights of stairs and they don't feel safe doing it, we would notify the customer immediately.
Well, I guess where I'm getting at is, if it's on the day of my move and all of a sudden y'all say, we can't move you because this is too large, too fragile, or do y'all go on site to do the estimate? And would you say you couldn't move it then?
Yes, immediately. It would be, because we do walkthroughs for all of the moves. So yeah, it would be definitely during the walkthrough.
Okay. I think I'd be upset if on the day of my move I was told we can't move you. That's all I'm getting.
Correct.
Okay. Also over on page 7.
Okay.
Under claims, there under section 3.1 claims, the company is giving the customers 96 hours to notify the company of any damages.
Yes.
Okay. How did y'all come up with that length of time?
We just basically that should be enough time for the customer to get settled in and basically get their furniture arranged how they want to. So it's basically just a judgment call.
Okay. Curious on that. I am over on the bill of lading. I'm actually looking at the one, this is attached to your pre-file testimony, so I think that's the most recent one.
Okay.
And you are aware of, or are you aware of the requirement that bills of lading must be consecutively numbered?
Yes.
Okay. And you see the box there about the shipment is subject to the rules and conditions of the carrier and the tariff, and liability for loss and damage is 60 cents per pound.
Yes.
Well, first, do y'all offer the customer the ability to pay a little more for additional insurance?
If they wanted to, we would definitely allow them to get their own insurance.
Okay, that's through them, but y'all at this point y'all are not offering to have any kind of additional insurance available. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, listen, I'm just clarifying some things for my mind. Nothing is fatal here, okay? It's just...
Yes, no problem.
Okay. Also on, I want to go back to I apologize, go back to the tariff. And and this might be something that you want to discuss with Mr. Torini, but the regulation under the tariff 103-190 subsection 2, and I'll provides for or requires a declaration of value, and I did not see that in the tariff, and so I'm not sure how we want to deal with that. And that's under declaration of value, basic amount, insurance for excess, and excess value. I just point that out. That would be something that Mr. Torini could talk with you about.
Okay.
Other than that, I'd like to wish you good luck in this endeavor.
Thank you very much.
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Belzer. Commissioners, any other questions? Okay. There are no other questions from commissioners. Mr. Gillum, we appreciate your testimony. Thank you for that. We'll let you step down as a witness. We will go back to Ms. Hammonds. If there's anything else, Ms. Hammonds from ORS.
No further questions for the witness, no, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anybody want to talk to Mr. McGill? He's here, and I know he's all dressed up and everything, so. Okay, Mr. McGill, hearing none, looks like you're off the hook again. Ms. Dukes, yes.
Sorry.
Mr. Torini, go ahead, sorry.
Thank you. I was just going to ask the commission for leave to file a tariff and possibly a modified bill of lading that conforms to the points Commissioner Belzer raised.
Yes, Ms. Dukes says that, and Commissioner Belzer, anybody want to comment in on that? We get that as a late file exhibit. Is that what?
I was going to submit it with a proposed order, and that way,
okay,
if it's acceptable to the commission, you could adopt it as part of the order.
Okay.
That would be fine with me.
Okay, let's do that then, Mr. Torini. That'll be fine. Okay. Ms. Dukes, are you?
I was asking Ms. Joe a question.
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't skipping you. Okay, so I think we've got. Is that everything, Mr. Torini? Are we good to go with everything for your case then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right, Ms. Dukes, I'm going to turn it over to you because I know you talked about proposed orders, and maybe let's double check on the exhibit list and make sure we have everything. We're all on the same page there.
Okay, sounds good. So, Mr. Torini, do you have a date in mind for the proposed order?
Oh, I'll have it by next week.
Okay, sounds good. And I just want to run through the exhibit list to make sure everybody's on the same page. Here in exhibit number 1 is the application filed February 21st, 2020. Here in exhibit number 2 is the affidavit of publication filed February 25th, 2020. Here in exhibit number 3 is the shipper witness affidavit of Amberly Green. Here in exhibit number 4 is a composite exhibit. It includes the certificate of existence, the tariff and bill of lading that were filed with Mr. Gilliam's pre-filed direct testimony. And here in exhibit number 5 is the ORS letter of no objection. Is that everyone's understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you. Back to you, Mr.
Great.
Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Dukes. Okay, so is there anything else that needs to come before us in this particular hearing?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Well, if not, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. We will certainly make this ruling as soon as practical, and good luck. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.